No matter where you go in the world, you immediately recognize those iconic golden arches. Today, with over 43,000 locations in more than 100 countries, it's a giant that feeds millions of people every single day. McDonald's. But what if I told you that the world's largest fast food chain is not actually a food company? Yes, you heard that right. McDonald's is a massive $42 billion real estate empire. And those burgers you love so much are just a tool used to pay the rent. Today, we are going to dismantle McDonald's ingenious business model. Moreover, this company wasn't always this flawless. Together, we'll explore how McDonald's returned from the brink of disaster and how it turned into a money-printing machine today. Back in the 1950s, where it all started, Ray Kroc, trying to grow the company, was taking a ridiculously low franchise fee of just 1.4% from operators. Kroc wanted to grow very fast, but became unable to repay the debts he took from banks. Right at that moment, the financial genius Harry Sonborn, who would become the company's first president, stepped onto the stage. Sonborn told Kroc, "Buy the land, build the restaurant yourself, and lease it to the franchisees." The foundation of the wealth McDonald's holds today was laid that day. However, years later, even this system couldn't protect the company from a collapse. In the last quarter of 2002, something shocking happened. For the first time in its 48-year history, McDonald's announced a massive quarterly loss of $343.8 million. Stock prices plummeted to a 9-year low. So, what happened? The company had solely focused on growth and completely forgot about quality. People were turning to healthy eating, massive obesity lawsuits were shaking the company, and worst of all, fierce price wars with rivals like Burger King and Wendy's were melting profits. Everything changed in 2003 when CEO Jim Cantalupo launched the Plan to Win. Cantalupo put an end to the obsession with just opening new locations and decided to focus. Irrelevant brands the company held like Donato's Pizzeria were immediately sold, and ventures like Fazoli's were excited, and focused entirely on core menu quality, service speed, and cleanliness. This restructuring worked, the restaurants recovered, sales skyrocketed, and McDonald's returned from the edge of the cliff as an unstable giant. Once the food quality recovered, the massive real estate engine in the background continued to operate flawlessly. As Sonborn famously said, "We are not technically in the food business, we are in the real estate business. The only reason we sell 15-cent hamburgers is because they are the greatest product of revenue from which our tenants can pay us our rent." The system is simple and ruthlessly effective. Today, about 95% of the more than 43,000 McDonald's restaurants globally are operated by independent franchisees, not the company itself. But there's a huge difference between them and other brands. If you want to open a Subway, you go and rent a commercial space yourself, and the company only takes royalties from you. McDonald's, however, finds the busiest, highest traffic corners with its own experts, either buys the land itself or secures very long-term leases. Today, McDonald's owns a deed to about 56% of its restaurant land and 80% of its buildings globally. So if you want to open a McDonald's, you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your own pocket for the interior build-out, but the owner of the land and the building the shop stands on is always McDonald's, and thus the payments begin. Before anything else, McDonald's takes a 4% to 5% royalty fee from the gross sales for using the brand. But the real jackpot is the rent. The rent system works with dual engines. There is a base rent that the franchisee has to pay no matter how poorly the restaurant performs. However, if things go well and sales increase, McDonald's makes contracts where it cuts a massive chunk, up to 29% of sales through a system called percentage rent. In other words, the more burgers you sell, the more your landlord, McDonald's, automatically earns. You might say, okay, but owning real estate comes with a ton of expenses like roof repairs, property taxes, and insurance. If you're a normal landlord, yes, but McDonald's uses a gold standard of the real estate world, the absolute triple net lease, triple N. According to this contract, property taxes, building insurance, and all kinds of infrastructure maintenance and repair costs come entirely out of the franchisee's pocket. The McDonald's headquarters merely collects its rent, zero expense, maximum profit. The financial results are staggering. The profit margin of restaurants operated directly by McDonald's is around 14.7%. Making and selling burgers is an expensive and difficult job. However, the franchise margin from collecting rent and royalties sits at a phenomenal 84.2%. Approximately 91% of the total restaurant profit entering the company's vault comes from its franchise system, namely real estate and brand rights. So much so that Wall Street analysts often make this calculation. If McDonald's separated all its lands and buildings today and turned them into an independent real estate company with a value of around $120 billion, it would surpass established giants like Prologis or American Tower and become the largest commercial real estate company in the world. This real estate control creates a massive gap between competitors. Subway, for example, currently has around 37,000 locations globally. Because Subway franchisees don't own prime, exclusive real estate and often cannibalize each other's sales, an average Subway branch makes around $400,000 a year. McDonald's, controlling the land and dominating the area with over 45,000 locations, generates roughly $2.7 million per unit annually. McDonald's survived its crisis by fixing its food, but its true power comes from the very soil its restaurants are built on. What do you think? Is McDonald's a food giant or a real estate king? Let's meet in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to discover new business models.